Here the architecture of LINQ. The query in the above diagram is expressed in C# and not in a new language. LINQ is not a new language. It is integrated in C# and VB.NET. In addition, LINQ can be used to avoid enlarging your .NET programming language with SQL, SL, or other data-specific languages. It is the set of language extension coming with LINQ that enables query over several kinds of data stores to be formulated right into programming languages. You can think of LINQ as a universal remote control. If you wish, at times you see it to query a database. At others, you will query an XML document, etc. But you will do all this in your favorite language without having to switch to another one like SQL or XSLT. LINQ query operation consists of 3 actions. First action is obtain the data source. This data source can be an array, database, or a XML document. Second action is create the query. The query specify what information to retrieve from the data source or sources. Specify how that information should be sorted or grouped. And the third one is execute the query. To execute the query, we are using for each loop. Here you can see the source code of 3 actions as I gave the description of earlier slide. The data source of this example is an integer array of elements. This is query creation part of an array. The variable called num_query is sorted to definition of query according to the where clause we are selecting even number. Here you can see the query execution part. As we said earlier, we use for each loop. The output of all the loop will print to the command line. The following illustration shows the complete query operation. In LINQ, the execution of the query is distinct from the query itself. In other words, you have not retrieved any data just by creating a query variable. In LINQ, you have not retrieved any data just by creating a query variable. This slide shows how to store the results of query in memory without executing. Just call one of the following methods on the query variable. As an example, using toArray method, result is stored in predefined array. Here you can see the example source code within store the results in a list. By using toList method, we store the result in this newly created list. An aggregation operation computes a single value from a collection of values. An example of an aggregation operation is calculating the average value, so sum or max. Here you can see the sum of the aggregation function we can use with LINQ. As an example, the method name is average, calculates the average value of a collection of values. The method name is count, counts the element in collection optionally, only those elements that satisfy a predicate function. In this query, it selects which are less than or equal to 3 from the array. By calling the current method, we'll count the elements and directly store the value in the number count variable.
In this example, we are going to show how LINQ query is fit into an object array. Here we have defined a class called person. It contains 2 string attributes called first name and last name, and there is one integer attribute called age. It will represent the age of a person. By clicking this button, all the person whose age is greater than or equal to 5 will be listed below. Then first we will create an object array from the person class. And for the buttons click event, we will define the query variable which contains the definition of the query. Then we have to execute the query using a for each loop. Inside the loop, the selected item will be added to the list box. Then we will click the button that we can see that all the persons whose age is greater than or equal to 15 are listed below.